I just finished making something really amazing and I couldn't wait to share with all of you. This bag is a place for everything 2.0 by Patterns by Annie. I made this bag for 3 reasons. 1, because I wanted the bag. 2, because I wanted to challenge myself and show myself that I could make something next level. And 3, as a way to participate in Patterns by Annie's hashtag SewPink Initiative, which is a fundraiser for breast cancer research. So this video is going to be 3 parts, essentially. The first part, I'm going to talk a little bit about the fundraiser. The second part is me showing you all about this bag because there is a party inside that I haven't even shared with you. And the third part is going to be some tips and tricks and working with vinyl and how I navigated this panel and making bags. And before we get into it, if this is your first time here, my name's Matthew of Mixed Domestic. This is an inclusive sewing and crafting space and community. That sounds cool for you and you like tutorials and fun stuff, then make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell to get notified anytime a new video comes out. Get ready to have some fun. So every October, Annie Unrein of Patterns by Annie gets a bunch of makers together to help promote this SewPink Initiative. The purpose of it is to promote awareness, create community, foster understanding, and to encourage people to get their screenings. And since October already shines a spotlight on breast cancer awareness, it's the perfect month to also highlight the need for increased breast cancer research. Because 1 out of every 8 women will develop invasive breast cancer during their lifetime. And myself, having a community all over social media of 90% women, I know it's a lot of y'all that can be impacted by this. Also being a parent to a daughter who's 11 years old now, oh my gosh, I can't believe how old she is. I know how important this is going to be in her life to understand. So I encourage all of you to check out my blog. The link's in my description below where there's more information about the fundraiser if you want to donate, screenings, etc. that will help you on your own understanding of breast cancer research and the need for more funding. So thank you, Annie, once again for trusting me and asking me to participate in this amazing initiative. So this bag started out with me making the M and the X using Juicy Juice and Allison Glass's mini alphabet pattern, which is a cool foundation paper piece pattern that has all of the alphabet and then some pineapple blocks. I used all of the blue hues and the pink hues in their combined soliloquy and scrawl fabrics that are out now. And all of this I have in my shop if you're interested. But since I was making this for me and really envisioning going out and about, I was like, what would I actually want? And a solid black bag with some highlights seemed like my style for where I am right now. So what I love about the Patterns by Annie zippers is that you can mix and match and create your own zipper with a zipper pull. So there's one zipper pouch here, boom, to put stuff in. And then this right here is actually a pouch if you wanted to stick things in here. Boom, right here and here. So already has a bunch of pouches. This is where the magic happens. There is a zipper. Wait till you see the inside. It's not just a bag. Ta-da, it's a portfolio. So there is a pouch right here. And then look, pages, 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 pages. And then another zipper pouch here so you can put whatever you needed to in here. And this is the really, really cool part of this bag is that these pages will come out. So as someone said in my comments on Instagram, this is like a trapper keeper for crafting. But here's one page, the front and a back, and then another page, a front and a back. And ta-da. So if you wanted to, yeah, close this up and you can use it as a bag for whatever you wanted. But let me move this to the side, because this is where I decided to have the color party, really extending on the blues right here, all of these zipper pouches. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pouches. Ta-da! And I used all the vinyl here. And then I flipped it over and I used the mesh, introduced this like light teal. I can put stuff here, and then there's another zipper pouch. So plenty of storage, and that is just one page. I think how I'm going to use this bag is actually in my sewing room. Just put all of the stuff that I use a lot in this bag, fill it up, and then I'll know exactly where they are to go get it. So see, hold a rotary cutter, similar, look at this fabric. And here. And then easy peasy, open it up. Go ta-da, stick it in there, And just like that, because of the Velcro fasteners, close it, ready to go. Ta-da! So that is the actual bag. Next, I'm going to go through some of my tips and tricks and working with vinyl and how I navigated parts of this bag that will help you with this pattern when you make it yourself. So yes, these patterns look daunting, especially this one that has bags inside of bags inside of bags with a lot of pockets and zippers. But one thing that I love about Patterns by Annie Patterns is that it is created with micro chunks. And so for myself, someone who has ADHD and gets overwhelmed and overstimulated easier, I can't think about like all of the steps. I just focus on the micro chunks and get that done. There's even at the end places for you to mark off, making sure you got everything done. So you're not gonna miss out. Just know if you ever have a Patterns by Annie pattern, you can just trust it because it is going to guide you along the way, 100%. One thing I wanted to show you was how I am doing the pages, which are the inside inserts of this bag. And this is the back. I cut out my soft and stable. I'm doing one at a time because it's too much for me to quilt if it's bigger than this. And I have my back. So the back is going to be one color. It's the main color, which is a black, dark gray. I am going to use 505 temporary adhesive. This is what I use whenever I need to baste a quilt or baste anything. Make sure to use this in a well-ventilated area and use a mask. That's enough. So this side, I'm going to center it. I made sure to cut out more than I needed because there will be some shrinkage whenever I quilt this. And these marks, I just did the midlines for me placing the pockets. This is a finished one. I wanted to play on the accents of the front. And so these are the two larger pockets, then three smaller pockets here. So I wanted to have each section be a unique color where the zippers are. I have this line, or where the seam is going to be on the bigger pockets, and with all of the pockets, where the top of the zipper is going to be for the one below. I'll show you that part too, so it makes sense. So for this one, I'm going to spray base this similarly. And I don't need this to go to the center line right here because there's going to be like a 1-inch strip that's going to hide the raw edges. Smooth out any lumpy bumpies. I also pressed the seams down because that's where the stitch line is going to be for the zipper so that there's no added bulk right here. So this is smoothed out. Let me make sure that this is smoothed out as well. And then there's only one line that I need going this diagonal and this diagonal. And I'm going to use my erasable friction pen. Put this on the 45-degree line. There we go. And draw. I have my walking foot on with this little here set at 3/4 inch. So from the needle to here is 3/4 inch. So I can just use this guide for every subsequent line. I'm using a 2.8 millimeter stitch length for my quilting, and I am going to do a grid on point. Let's get going. So there's no need to draw the next line. Now I'm just going to make sure that this line's up here. So I used a walking foot for most of my vinyl sewing, but if you don't have one thing you can do is if the vinyl is on the top to keep it from sticking, if you want to just on your regular foot, take some tape. This is just regular Scotch tape or gift wrapping tape, and just put it on the bottom evenly. You can trim it to size if you wanted to, right there, and then you can sew and then it won't stick on the top. Just make sure to clear this section out of it. They also have something called a Teflon foot, which I couldn't find mine. And it's made out of a Teflon material that doesn't stick and slip. So either one would work, or the walking foot when having vinyl on the top. If you have vinyl on the bottom, one thing that's great about this Patterns by Annie vinyl is that it has paper that makes it a lot easier to cut so you can actually see it. And then if you just leave it on there whenever you do the sewing, then you could perforate it and it'll come off and it'll keep it from sticking. If you don't have the vinyl that has the paper on it, then you can just put a sheet of paper underneath and it would do the same thing. So those are my tips and the different feet that I use and how I navigate sewing with vinyl. One other tip for sewing with vinyl and or sewing bags that have a lot of layers is that I will either use a jeans or a denim needle because it is super thick and super pointy. Like so, can you see it? See how sharp this is? This goes through all the layers. Why you want to use this is if you don't, you just use a universal needle, then you'll skip some stitches and it might not go through all the layers. And then if you have a lot of layers you need to get through, the leather needle, whoa, this one is a monster. Show you this one. It is so incredibly thick and it has such a sharp point that this will get through all of those layers. But just know that whenever you sew through vinyl, the holes will stay there. So just make sure that everything is right with the tension, etc., especially if those holes are gonna be seen. And I'm just gonna keep doing it all on this diagonal, 3/4 of an inch away, and then do the perpendicular diagonal with the same technique. And then right here, since I have these lines here mathematically accurate, I don't need to draw an additional line whenever I sew these on. So essentially one zipper goes there, sew that on, and the double zipper goes here, line it up right above that, stitch that on, and then the final zipper like so, right above that stitch line, ta-da, and then they are even. And since you can't pin the vinyl to where you want it, I'm using my sew tie. It's either dots or super strong magnetic. These are especially great for bags because it'll hold it in place like so, and I can take it over to my sewing machine and sew. And then I wasn't feeling the aesthetic whenever I had just a stitch line in these split pockets, so I created a little fabric strip that I folded over, put on some Wonder Tape, and then I'm going to stitch it starting this way. Now that I've stitched that, I'll just fold it over, and the Wonder Tape is tacky enough so it will stay in place whenever I stitch this along both sides. And this is what it looks like in the completed one. See? Nice. When attaching zippers to vinyl, the best thing that I have found to use is something called Wonder Tape. It washes away. I'll never wash this, but it's a semi-permanent tape. I'm going to take the length that I need and put it right here on the back of the zipper, so not the front. I'm going to heat set this off camera, and it's used an iron to really set this in and give it a little bit of heat, which adds a little bit more tack to it to get it to attach to the vinyl. This is Patterns by Annie vinyl, which comes with this paper. Makes it a lot easier to cut. Love it. And I will lay this flat and attach this where I want it on the back. Ta-da. Really press it. Make sure that it is affixed. Now I don't have to mess with pins or clips, and I can take this over to the sewing machine and sew it in place. Other place that I'm going to use Wonder Tape that worked really great for one of the pages is the page facing, which is in the center of the front and the back. The pattern has you sewing them separately, but instead I'm using Wonder Tape in the center. I'm going to attach the front and the back at the same time and sew them at the same time. So do the front. So line this up right on the lines that I drew per the pattern in the center. Boom, boom, shake the room. Brr, brr. See, like so. Then I made these longer than the pattern called for so I can see them on the other side. Here, Wonder Tape. And then just from here, line that up here, line that up to that one. Pull taut to make sure it's straight. Press, and voila. They should be right on top of each other, so that I'll sew them great. This is how it turned out on the pink one. Use the same technique. See, this is the front. And then this is the back. I did all that with one stitch line. And before I put everything together, I wanted you to see the parts. So these are the two page inserts. This is the back zipper pocket. This is the front zipper pocket. This is the side piece that it'll open from. So like the hinge. And then these are the zipper straps for the outside. And then these are all of the straps that you need. And those are the pieces that you're going to be looking for when you tackle this. So if you take each section at a time, then this project is absolutely achievable. I hope you liked my bag as much as I did. I'm absolutely in love with this. It's one that I'm going to use for years and years and years. And I hope that some of y'all make your own. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to check out my blog for information on this bag, materials, and the SewPink Initiative and fundraiser for breast cancer research. And then if you aren't subscribed to my newsletter, you've been missing out on deals and information, so make sure to check the link and just subscribe. It's fun, I promise. So until next time, happy sewing.